Hello, and thank you again for joining us on Beyond Behavior. We're so excited that you're here, and especially for this very video. We're going to be talking about 5 tips to better sleep for your child with autism, sensory processing disorder, ADHD, or just general behavioral concerns. A lot of the parent groups that I'm a part of and a lot of the specialist groups that I'm a part of, a lot of people have been talking about sleep and how they can't get kids to sleep well. Tip 1 is to make sure that there is no video at least 1 hour before bed. So that includes iPad time, TV time. And the reason that you want to limit this 1 hour before bed, I'm going to drop a little bit of science in here, but your circadian rhythms, so the rhythms of natural sleep and wake cycles in your body, are set off by light. And so if your child still has light that is being processed by what are called the rods and cones in their eyes, that general release of melatonin won't happen. Those circadian rhythms don't start because that light is still telling our brain that the sun is up, it's not time to go to bed. So make sure that you're limiting TV, iPad, and electronic time at least 1 hour before bed. Tip 2 is develop routines around bedtime. If your child has a predictable understanding of what's going to be happening at bedtime, they're more likely to conform to that and go to sleep at night. So make sure that you develop some sort of routine around bath time that naturally calms that child. So this might be making sure that you bath at a certain time and read them books at a certain time, tuck them in, and make sure that you follow that same routine every single night as much as practically possible. This third tip is kind of my secret sauce. It's what other practitioners are missing. And it's the fact that gut bacteria play such a big role in the production of what are called neurotransmitters in your body. So if your child was born via C-section or they've been on several courses of antibiotics, it's like baking a cake, right? You have to have a certain recipe for things to go right. And there's a recipe for sleep. And that includes getting the right nutrition and having enough gut bacteria in your body, to name a few issues. So making sure that you talk to your pediatrician about getting your child on a vitamin supplement, but also a pre and probiotic, because those pre and probiotics are really fundamental important to not only human life, but for the production of one of those neurotransmitters, which are just chemical signals. One of them is called serotonin, and serotonin is a precursor to melatonin, so it comes right before melatonin. And as you most likely know, if you have a child with autism, ADHD, behavioral issues, you might have your child already on this supplement. It should be happening naturally inside the body. So asking yourself those few things about your child or the client you're working with: were they born via C-section and they didn't get exposed to that natural vaginal flora? Or have they been on a lot of courses of antibiotics and they don't have that natural gut bacteria that's going to help them naturally produce that serotonin that then helps them produce that melatonin? So making sure you have that conversation with the pediatrician and looking into getting the right pre and probiotics for your child. The fourth tip is making sure that your child has the right sleep environment. Now, if you remember when we talked about tip 1 and we talked about the processing of light, that to make sure that you're limiting the iPad time or the TV time that your child has 1 hour before bedtime. This is also true in the sleep environment. So making sure that your child's curtains, that there's not any light sources that will keep your child awake, because again, that's going to disrupt those natural, what we call circadian rhythms, those sleep and wake cycles that should be naturally happening in the body. So taking a look at the environment, is it something that is conducive to sleep? Are the curtains dark enough? Is the temperature of the room sufficient for sleep? Do they have their pillow that they really love? Do they have the sheets that they really love? So checking the environment to make sure that it's really going to help that child get to sleep. The fifth and final tip is to consider the foods or drinks that your child is consuming before bedtime. A lot of times what I find with the clients that I work with, their children are consuming maybe milk or bread right before bedtime, And some of the kids end up having some allergies, intolerances, and sensitivities. So these foods essentially are giving them tummy aches or maybe some reflux that we don't really know about, because it could be silent reflux that are keeping these children awake. So if you think that might be a problem for your child, you want to talk to the pediatrician about getting some allergy testing, looking at intolerances, sensitivities, to make sure that you're eliminating any of those foods that may be causing some tummy troubles and keep your child awake at night. So we hope you love these 5 tips, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us. If you'd like to see more content like this, just let us know, and make sure you click that subscribe button. Take care.